Hello, everyone. I think we're just waiting for some people to pop in this late afternoon on a Monday. I decided to switch it up a little bit. I didn't do any lives or video last week, and I wanted to pop one in as soon as possible. I've got another one coming up on Thursday. Thursday, I'm going to be doing some Zentangle with an announcement of Desiree Tangle's design team. So hopefully you come back 5 o'clock on Thursday for that announcement. I decided to do some Halloween, and I'm feeling a little left out. It's Stamp-timber for Simon Says Stamp. Yes, I'm starting to go broke on some of that stuff, and I typically don't buy a lot of like Halloween specific or holiday specific items. I like my stamp sets to kind of be universal, and I don't tend to, I gotta take these off, they're dirty anyway. I don't tend to do any Halloween stamps, to be very honest, and so I don't buy into the Halloween stuff and things, but I'm feeling a little left out watching all the new stuff come out and all the fun stuff come out. So I thought I would try and do a Halloween type card today using what I have. And so I'm hoping that this just kind of inspires you guys to grab what you have and think of them in a different way. This one, I got the idea, I was looking at some ads online, Michael's Craft Store, and looking at some of the floral things, you know, and how you can get like florals for the seasons. And so obviously there's like black roses, red roses, Halloween, and orange roses. And so I just thought, I don't need some of these like kitty kind of stamps to make Halloween. I have stuff that I can do this with. So I'm hoping this just kind of inspires you to look at what you have and try something different. I've done a little bit of legwork today just because I wanted to get the embossing done. I've got some texture paste drying. If it's not completely dry, I'll lightly dry it if it doesn't puff up on me. But I'll show you kind of what I've prepped, show you kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going a little mixed media today because if you've been watching some of my stuff come out, I'm going down the distress, dig out, dug out, rabbit hole, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little addicted, and I'm limited on what I've got for my distress stuff, but I've got enough to play with. I've got a little range of colors to play with, and I keep buying more. So I'm gonna go down the distress route today. We're gonna go down the watercolor route today and show you what I have. So let's go down to my down camera, and then I just want to show you guys what I have, what I'm gonna get started with, and then we'll go from there. So here I have the Alta New stamp set I'm going to use. Alright, I'm going with roses because I thought roses would be kind of fun. Hey, I see a couple of you guys, so thank you for popping in and hanging with me on this Monday afternoon. So we're going to go roses. We're going to go dead black, red, bloody, kind of orangey roses with some just gray, dead kind of leaves. And then I'm going to do some watercoloring with these. So this stamp set is the Made with Love stamp set. This one does come with the dies. So I've done some pre-leg work with this stuff. This one also comes with the stencil. Because I'm going to watercolor, I did debate. I was gonna do this today and blend this out, but I want to do some watercolor and try some watercolor with this. So we're not going to use this, but this set did come with the dies and the stencils. So we're going to put this aside. Here's what I've prepped. So I have prepped out my embossing because I'm going to do some basic, simple, beginner, anybody can do this kind of watercolor today. And so I embossed these all in black, and I just used, I've had this one for a very long time, Ultra Detail Embossing, black powder, opaque. It's almost gone, but I've had it for a very long time. Fine powder, so this does very nice on this fine detail stamp, but I just embossed so that I can hold the water in and control this just a little bit more. Let me cover up that light just a little bit. So I've pre-done that legwork. Now, I've got some texture paste already drying, but I wanted to show you what I've done so you can kind of see what I've added, how I've added it as it's drying, and then we'll go into the watercolor and go from there. I'm also using a technique by Amy R., Prairie Paper and Ink. So this idea was her idea for how she watercolored this. I'm also going to do a little moon idea with some mixed media, spraying it and getting it to bloom over the moon and get this foggy kind of moon. I got it from her, Prairie Paper and Ink, Amy R. And the video I watched, I'll be honest, she got it from somebody else. So it's kind of a pass me down kind of technique. All right. I want some dirty kind of dead roses along the bottom. Spray this out with my moon up here, and I want like a branch kind of coming over here that we're going to ink over the top of with some distress. All right. So what I've done already, and I'll show you, it's over there drying. So I have just a basic generic stamp. Sorry, it's not like it's not name brand, it's just generic. I think I got this off of Amazon. If I can find this, I'll put all the links to this stuff in my comments for you guys. I have laid this down so that I get it coming down and across my card. Roses will be here, moon's gonna be here. And here's what I did. I'm just grabbing some tape, and I'm gonna do some tape on the underside of my paper. I am using, let me grab the cover for you guys. I'm using Canson XL. This is 11 by 15. I just take my sheets of paper and I cut this down to the size I want. Right now I'm just using a full panel 5.5 by 4.25 because I'll cut this down when I get done with it. I'm using there's a rough side and there's a smooth side. I want some texture to this just because of the type of card and the Halloween that I'm doing, so I am throwing that on the textured side, okay? Then I just take and kind of place this where I want it. And I'm going to tape this down just to hold it in place, and I'll hold it with my finger, okay? My new addiction, Distress Texture Paste. This comes in a 3-ounce bottle. I think I'm about halfway through with this bottle already, and it's probably 2 weeks old. So I'm addicted, and I am loving it. So the texture you get. Now I will say this with this paste. If I put this on now, and I let this dry completely, this one's, as I spray over the top of it, it's going to suck up the color. I'm okay with that on this card. This is the opaque. You need to get the gloss version of this to not suck up the color. If I had already put my color and my sprays down on this and then put this over the top of it, it would suck up that color from the paper. So this one's going to eat up your color. Just know that. Get the glossy version, translucent version, if you don't want it to do that. All right, I'm just going to hold this down, and I'm going to paste over the top of this. This is all you do is I have got a long spatula. I got a pack of these on Amazon. I also have the Simon Hurley little pack of the scraper tool and the little spatula, but I like the kind of the longer spatula. Put it on like frosting. This is like buttercream frosting. It's super smooth. Okay, I'm just putting it on so that it fills in the holes of my stencil, and I'm smoothing it out and scraping the excess off. Okay, now if this is what you want, leave it there, peel this up. I'm putting my extra away. What I wanted to do with this card, because I'm looking for Halloweeny grungy texture on this, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to just lightly tap over that stencil because I want this texture to pop up and not be so smooth. Okay, so this is over where the leaves and the branches are. And now peel that up, and then that's what you got. Okay, this you're going to want to dry because this stuff does, or excuse me, wash. It does dry pretty hard. And now let me hold this up to the camera here for you so you can kind of see you've got that popped up kind of texture. It's not quite so smooth, right? You can see this leaf over here is still pretty smooth. You're going to get that variation. I've got one of these setting aside to dry, and then we'll finish this card out, okay? Now, let's start watercoloring. So I wanted this one to be simple because I want us to look at our stuff in a different light, but I want it to be easy for anybody. Like this is not, and I am not an advanced watercolorist by no means. And when Amy R did this on Prairie Paper and Ink, check out her channel. She's got the one video of this where she does the moon kind of thing. She does the same thing. It's super easy, no stress, no like, God, don't even think about this, okay? I want lots of shadowing, and I want this bloody orangey kind of look. So I'm going to put my leaves aside first. I'm using Distress inks. So for this one, I'm going to mix some Barn Door, Carved Pumpkin. I might do a yellow one too, some Fossilized Amber, and then some Scorched Timber. You could also, fun cool part about this, is not do this as my shadowing, which we'll do, and get out some colored pencils and dry it, and then do your shadowing with colored pencils, which I've done. Gina K's done that. Love it. Anybody that's watched my stuff, I love my Gamsol, I love my colored pencils. I just got 2 new sets, so I'm loving those. We're gonna go all watercolor today. Simple little water brush, filled with water, squeeze it, water comes out, and you've got your water palette, okay? Nothing fancy. I grabbed one of these just to show you. I've got a set of these called mop brushes. I'm not even going brush, I'm just going very simple and easy. All right, now, my favorite part, we're just gonna take on my glass mat and squish out the colors that I want. Like so. And now we're just gonna coat with water, fill in my lines. It's kind of like number coloring, right? And then we're gonna add the shadow afterwards. So I'm gonna go red, black, black, red. I'm gonna go red rose with black shadowing. Then I'm gonna go black rose with red tips. Okay. So just to start, I'm gonna lay down some water. Hey Gaz, how's it going, man? Thanks for stopping by. I know we were hanging with, I think it was Biddy Penny and Desiree and stuff yesterday, so good to see ya. I'm assuming you are in between work or resting before work. All right, now I've got my water down. It's just a nice layer, okay? This is watercolor paper, so it can hold it. Now I'm just gonna pick up my red. I go a little water in there, pick up my red, and literally I'm just coloring this in, okay? Nothing fancy with this because we're gonna just shadow this out once we get to that portion. Keep in mind with watercolor, and none of you have watercolored, the more you layer, the deeper and darker intense it's gonna get, okay? So as I lay this down, it's going to soak up and get more intense on me. So you can see here, I started light. If I pick up again, I'm going to get more intense color as I lay over top of that. Work is done. Good for you. Yep, I rushed from work for my live here this evening as well. It's been a day. Let me tell you guys, it's been a day. All right, now I'm gonna just let this, I'm gonna actually add just a little bit more because I want a little extra shadow on this. So I'm gonna deepen this up down in my crevices here, where I'm gonna end up adding the dark anyway. And I'm just tapping in. Just to intensify that out just a little bit. I'm going to go a little more washy on my next one. So we're going to let that dry. Let's grab the next one. Okay. We're going to go yellow on this one. and wash this. So I'm going to go, whoops, I didn't add my, wash this out with water. Get it good and wet. Nice even layer. And I'm just picking up water from off my mat here and just adding it to it. Okay? Alright, now I'm going to pick up my yellow and wash that in. I'm going to go lighter on this one so that I can intensify my shadowing afterwards. Okay, now I'm going to pick up with less water. I'll lay down just a little more here. Less water. And throw that down in. Just tapping that in. And because these are kind of smaller stamps, I mean, here's the size, just to give you perspective, like fits in the palm of my hand, right? So pretty small. They're not big florals. And I'm just adding to intensify spots of yellow before I move on. All right, I'm gonna leave that. And I'm gonna do a dark one. So I'm gonna come in with some ground espresso. Maybe a little scorched timber, actually. So scorched timber I'm going to start with. I have a little bowl of water over here that I'm just washing out the color off of, so I'm not kind of carrying any over. Alright, same thing. I'm going to wash this down with a good portion of water. It's not puddling, but it's sitting on the surface, okay? Now I'm going to do everything except for the tips on this one so I can add the color onto the tips because this is so dark. Okay, so I'm going to pull in some water with this one. Now I'm going to go start down in here and let that bloom out. I want it to look honestly kind of dead. Just for that Halloween kind of feel, right? And just dabble that in. And just let that naturally kind of bloom where it wants to bloom. And then I'm going to immediately come with my red and tap those edges and get that to bloom together right away. And then I'll come back and just darken that brown. Idea here is just to get that to bloom together and do a nice blend without, I'm letting the water basically do the work for me on the paper. Okay, so then I'm going to come back. I'm not going to use as much water now on this time because I want to get this just a little darker as I layer this in. And I'm just letting that water do the work. Random kind of tap into darken in just random spots. And I'm going to leave that one as is. Now I'm going to come back in here and shadow out on these two. Okay? So now it's still damp. I'm going to go in and tap in my shadowing. So it's still damp enough to bloom and pull that out. And I'm just literally tapping where that shadowing would be. And I'm doing this second on this one because that yellow would not blend. Like, I could have done the reverse like this one too, but I just wanted this more intense yellow on this one. just like so. And you can almost just kind of like, I mean, my issue is I always have the issue of when to stop, like how much more to add and where to stop. So I'm just tapping in some random dark spots of that yellow to bring that out just a little bit, and we'll stop with that one. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on this one now with my scorched timber again. Still got it. It's still damp enough to just lightly bloom on me. And pull this out. Just like so. Tap it in where those petals would meet, and it would naturally have some shadow. Easy peasy. There's not much thought process behind this as you watercolor this in. It's not a exact science on this one. Getting this one just a little more intense because I want this just a little more kind of a bloody kind of feel to it. Bloody and like a Halloween, like in a Halloween bloody. That is it on that one. All right, I did 5. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do brown tips on these two so we can kind of see the reverse of these, but I want to bring in orange. So I'm going to do orange all over, brown tips at the end because it seems to be easier to throw that color down all over. And I didn't water this one. I want this to be quite intense. So I'm letting that paper grab the color as it is. I didn't water this down. I wanted my orange to pop. A couple of you hanging with me. Appreciate it. Welcome everyone on a Monday. I kind of threw this Monday in last minute just to kind of see. I felt a little guilty for not doing much last week. It was a busy week with company over the weekend, and then we were busy through the weekend, and then work was crazy. I know work's about to get real crazy for me this week. All right, I'm going to throw some water down all around the tips of this one. So I'm just squeezing out of my brush here so that I can get that bloom to happen on the tips. All right? And I'm still pulling from that scorched timber over here on the side that I've been using right here. That's just, it's been watered down, so it's not as intense. And I'm just letting that bloom on its own, filling in the gaps where I feel like I need a little more. All right, now I'm going to go back through with that orange. I want to just add a little more orange right into the bottom here to intensify that some. Like so. Just to get it a little brighter. And that's that one. I like this one actually. This is probably one of my favorites out of these three so far. Let's do another one with the brown tips. So since I've got the orange, let's do, I've got a red, yellow. I think I'm going to do the yellow with the, actually I'm going to do the red. I'm going to try the red. Really intense red. And then I'll try to soften that down with my scorched timber. So I'm going to keep this intense over here, not water it down. Did not water this down because I want to do intense like I did on this orange to get that to pop a little bit more. And again, these are the Distress cubes. One of my first purchases of distress was the cubes, just to test it and try it and not make a full commitment to distress. Probably have sat in my drawer for over 2 years where I've actually got them out to use them in any significant amount. And now that I've gotten more comfortable with my card making and the distress part of it, here we are, digging in it and pulling all this distress out like nobody's business. Okay, I'm going to do the same. I'm dabbling my water all along the edges of the petals because that's where I'm going to throw down that scorched timber again. So I'm just trying to hit the edges of the petals, okay? Picking up that scorched timber over here that is already watered down and just tapping it in all along my edges. And it'll grab where that water is, where it's more wet. I kind of think I like the reverse. I think I like these better with the brown edges versus the brown at the roots. Soften that down just a little bit down into that. I'm going to pull in just a little bit of my this one I threw down was the ground espresso, just to kind of see if I can intensify that, just to warm that up a tiny bit, just to see. Yeah, it's not bad. I think I've got black soot in the spray. I could have put down a little black soot spray. I don't have a black ink yet. All right, I think I'm gonna leave that as is, just like so. All right, we're gonna go in and do my leaves. So let me just wipe this up a little bit here. And then I'm gonna do gray. So I pulled out my hickory smoke, and I think I'm gonna just throw down a little bit of yellow with a little bit of green, and wash these down. So I'm gonna do the leaves of these here first. So let's just, I'm using peeled paint, fossilized amber again, and then hickory smoke. Again, I'm just going for like dead kind of, not a lot of vibrancy for the overall look here. All right, I'm going to throw down my gray here first, and let me get a little water on here on these couple. So just a light covering of water. Now I'm going to throw down my hickory smoke right here down at the base and that main spine of the flower. And then I'll lightly dabble in some greens and yellows, just to give it a little. And I'm kind of just swirling and filling in where I did not get the gray. That's all I'm really doing with these two colors. I tend to like a little more green yellow on my leaves, so. All right, that's the overall look I want. I'm happy with those, so we're gonna go on to the rest. Let's get these here first. So I'm gonna get these wet, wash that out. Get these wet here. Pick up my gray, we'll gray those down. Like so. Gaz, I'm not sure if you're still with me. I think I've got one left in my chat. Not sure if it's Gaz or who's hanging with me, but thanks for hanging with me. Figured we'd just throw down some non-traditional trick-or-treaty Halloween kind of stuff. I'm not a typical trick-or-treaty card person. I don't have any Halloween type stamps. So but I feel left out watching everything that's on sale and September and all this stuff going on for these Halloween things. And I'm like, okay, I need to make something Halloween. And what do I have? How can I do this? So this is where we're at. This is how I came up with something a little more, I don't know if I'd say goth. It's probably not complete goth, but it's probably close. All right, get those little puppies out of my way. Cleaning this up with just some clean water over here on the side. And I'm just going to do a wash on a couple of these at a time. Okay. Again, this is all embossed. All right, throw down my gray. And I'm going to be honest, this is just random. I'm just swishing and going down the spine, bringing it out to the edges of those leaves a little bit. I want this more just simple and easy. All right, a little bit more gray on these. Non-traditional. Also, could you do? I could have did all black on these too. I debated. Should I just do all black and with hardly any color? But I'm like, I gotta have I don't know. I just had to have a little color on these. All right, let's just pick up some greens and yellows and fill in my gaps of where I did not color. And washing it in. Still pretty wet, so you can kind of see it blooming together. These inks also, with watercolor, they spread really, really easy. They blend really, really easy. You know, just know your color wheel a little bit so you're not, you know, red and green complement, right? And so they'll make mud. So just know your watercolors your color wheel a little bit so you're not making too much mud as you're blending and complementing. All right, I think those are my pieces, actually. And I want to just re-look at my pieces here. I think I want to intensify my yellow a little bit on this one and brighten it. It's a little damp still, but that's okay. Let me just grab my yellow. A little more fossilized amber. So I'm going to, because that's just damp, I'm going to just a little bit of water right on the very, very tip of my brush and pick up some yellow so that I get it to spread so that when I go pen to paper, it doesn't just stick right down. And I'm just going to add a little bit more intense color in here. I just want this to be a little rich. And you can see it changing. Like that's just adding just a little bit more of that sunflowery kind of deeper. It's not so pastel-y. I don't want this too pastel-y. I was looking for, when I was also looking for some ideas, I thought this would be cool. Bitty Penny had this new release of some papers, which I did not, I bought the Queen's paper. I did not buy she had some skull ones and things which are really cool, which would have been so cool to throw with these. Skulls, cross, bones, those types of things. If you have them, throw it. What you have. Throw in here what you have. Was my whole idea. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with the red. I think on this one, just to bump that up just a tiny bit before we work on our backgrounds. Oh yeah. Just richen that up just a little bit, yeah. So I'd be interested to know, I know I've only got a couple people in right now, but if you're watching on the replay, feel free to comment later. If you are not into this stuff, but this is helpful, like finding something that you could use in your current stash to use, and do you have anything? Like what could you use? This got really pink, and I'm wondering if I should leave that pink. I'm going to dabble just a tiny bit on this. Just going to get the little tips of this. because this is a little pinky pastel, I'm just tapping the edge to pull in right on the very tips of the petals some red. Yeah. And actually, I'll be honest, like this is my first time kind of thinking this way, like rather than using the traditional whatever stamps that would match, I'm just like, I've been doing some card hops lately, so you can find them on my Instagram. And this is what's just pushing me outside the envelope to do some of this is thinking, do I have something that'll go with this week's hop, or how can I look at this slightly different? I've done the craft roulette. I missed my submission this week, but I've been doing the same thing with craft roulette. I kind of like that. It just deepened it just a tiny bit. So I'm going to go with these, like so. We're going to go with these leaves. I'm going to wipe this up. I want to dry these just a little bit before I set them aside and move on. So let me grab my little heat tool here. Just dry those just a little bit. And then let's just see if I've got, if this is dry and up on me. Oh yeah, this has been now sitting for, let me move this while I dry here. So this is the piece that I did pre-show. I've got my other one that I did here at the beginning of the show here, drying. This one I did pre-show. It's been sitting for about 40 minutes. It's dry. It's got a little more texture than the one I did at the beginning, so I can hold this up so you can kind of see the dabbled kind of texture on there. All right, now let's get a little messy. We're gonna have to get a little messy on this portion of this. So I'm gonna set these aside to dry as we finish. All right, now, idea behind this is I'm going to put the moon here, and we're going to do this blooming moon technique, like I said at the beginning. Amy R. by Prairie Paper and Ink. She did this on a video, and she got it from somebody else, so we both have stolen the idea. She has a full round one that's smaller, and I didn't have one, and I didn't have time to die cut something. I was going to die cut out of, like, some masking paper would have worked, but I didn't have time. So I'm going to throw mine in the corner and make this my moon section. With the leaves, and I actually might just do like over that actually. I'm going to do that over because then it has the leaves over the moon. We'll texture this and then we'll bloom it out and show you how that's done. So what I need to do is tape this piece down. Because I have a bigger circle, I'm just going to use a little bit more tape to hold this down. Okay. I'm gonna then we're gonna have to probably put this in my splatter box because this is gonna get messy. Like so. I went over so that the branches look like they're hanging over the moon as we do this. Hold that down. Again, Canson watercolor paper, texture side up. When you do this, so I'm gonna use this in my splatter box. My very well loved splatter box here. Now, we're going to do this a couple things. I'm going to lightly spray this, lightly. Then I'm going to spray my distress sprays on here in the colors I want. Lift this up and then spray with water because it's water reactive, so it starts spreading on me. Then I'm going to dab off so I can get the texture I want with a paper towel. But I'm going to dampen this just slightly because I don't want this dry paper towel to soak up everything. So I just got it nice and very damp. Okay? So I'll spray, dabble, and bloom and spray until I'm happy with where it's at. So I'm going to do a light spray here. I got a little much, so I'm going to dab that off. Okay? Now, I'm using a combo of forest moss, black soot, mustard seed, ripe persimmon, and chipped sapphire. Might use all these, might not use them all. We'll see. But I'm going for a dark orangey Halloweeny background with a blooming moon. Okay? Now, let's just start spraying and get some fun going. All right. Again, you guys, I'm addicted. This is my first little pack. I bought like 12 of these as my first little pack. I bought these as my first pack a couple years ago. Now I've got some big ones that I'm slowly adding to it. So my colors are limited, but I got colors that kind of cover the range for me of things I want to do. So, hey everyone, I see a couple more popped in, so welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. We're doing a non-Halloween materials into a Halloween card. So, all right, let's get some colors going. And I'm just grabbing and spraying to get some of these colors of a nice deep kind of Halloween feel to this. All right. And then lastly, I'm going to throw a little black soot right over the top. All right, now I'm going to peel this off and start to spray and bloom this out. And it should catch over that moon and start blooming over that moon. Lightly peel so I don't rip with that tape. And now start spraying and bloom that across your moon. And then just dab to pick up and get that texture going. I'm going to throw some more into there. And then you can keep adding your colors. I just want a little more green in that. And then dab that so you got that moon behind there. And you're just kind of playing until you get it where you want it. I want mine just kind of mossy. I'm just going for this mossy kind of feel. So, all right, I think I'm gonna dab off of my moon just a little bit so it kind of shows that moon a little bit. Pull some of that down. I'm gonna dry this just a little bit. I'll throw just a little more in there. And you can see where that texture paste was that picked up the colors. Alright, I like this because it's nice and green and mossy and deep, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Get this nice and dry on both sides because that water will push down into the paper, so you want to make sure you get both sides of that dry. It'll curl and uncurl as it's drying. That's your goal. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and do my edges just a little bit to kind of frame it out. And we'll assemble this. Throw this on a card and we'll be good to go. Couple of you hanging with me, thanks all. Welcome. Happy Monday. All right, good and mossy and green. I'm going to take and I'm going to splatter this just a little bit. I want some splatter on here. It's pretty decently dry. So I'm going to take my my orange and my black soot and just splatter a little bit, just to bring in that color. Little black soot over the top of that. Now, could you take and add stuff to this texture paste and smear it on with the fingers? Yeah, lunar paste would be good. A little gold smeared on there would be good. You could dress this up however you really want it, to be honest. Let me just take a little. All right. I'm going to dry the rest of this the rest of the way, and we'll start to assemble. How is everybody? Good 5 or 6 of you hanging. How's everyone doing? Who's in the house with me on a Monday? So I switched it up. I'm not sure if Mondays are going to be my day. I'm going to be honest. I think Thursdays at 5 o'clock are going to be my day for lives. I just wanted to get a video in here since I didn't do anything for the week last week with company and being super crazy busy. So I wanted to do something, but thanks for hanging with me. So I think I'm going to stick to my Monday moments at 3 on Mondays and my every other Saturdays at 3 for Scrappies. And then I think Thursdays might be my live day at 5. Just to keep it all kind of consistent, and that way it's all the same. But yeah, I've been a little random and all over. I'm getting busy at work and some training and things going on. All right, I am digging how this turned out. Really digging how this turned out. Now, what I want to do is we're going to assemble these over the top. And let me get my mat. Let's see, what should we do for mat? I've got a good green. I'm wondering if this just green on green might be a little too much. I've got some crafty craft. I think I might just go black because I gotta get some black in here. Let me grab a piece of black paper. Alright, we're just gonna go, I think we're gonna go black. Yeah, we've got to pull black off of this stuff anyway. So I'm going to trim this down. This is a full panel. So I'm going to go down to, this was 5.5. We're going to go by 5.25 by 4 on this piece. 5.25 by 4. Then we're going to go the 5.5 by 4.25 on this one. For full panel. And then I want to distress this out just a little bit. So I'm going to take, I do not have a, I don't remember what it's called. I don't have the edger that does the roughed up stuff. So I'm just using my pinking shear and roughing up my edge. And I want this torn and chunky. Don't be afraid to dig into it if you have to. And then we'll throw some color around the edges here. And I'm kind of gouging in. I want this roughed up. Like so. If you could go too much, that's okay. That tear, that's okay. All right. Good and chunky. I'm going to take my scorched timber and we're going to take my brush. We're going to rough up the edge of this. Hey Pam Purtle, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. We are just doing a kind of a non-traditional Halloween card. I don't have Halloweenie trick-or-treaty stuff, but I felt left out, so we're going to add some just a Halloween colored kind of roses, dead roses kind of thing, and do a little mixed media. So I'm just taking this to darken up that white, and then I'll just pull this in around just to frame this out just a little bit. So I'm going to pull this in this way, like so. Don't be afraid to rough this up. Like, you know, that's the cool part about some of this. It's just this mixed media stuff, especially, like, there's nothing is the wrong way. I'm learning is definitely key with some of this. So, all right, we're gonna go like so, and I actually want to take. I'm gonna take this. I'm going to keep that piece curled. I'm going to curl this piece up a little bit and get that. We're going to do opposite corner here. I'm going to curl this up a little bit. And then I'm just going to color that underneath side so I don't have that white showing. Just like so. Okay. I'm going to glue this down first before we assemble onto the flowers and stuff. All right. Hopefully this is starting to show in my head. Now, sometimes I start with these concepts and then I'm like, as I do things, I change things and I'm like, okay, well this ended up more cheerful and brighter than I was really had in my head, and then sometimes it's not close to what I was thinking. But I was going for a mossy, Halloween, foresty kind of something with some dead or starting to look dead flowers, but I wanted a little color, and I'm hoping that's kind of where this is starting to land, or at least getting there. All right, cool beans. I'm digging this. Okay, now how to lay this out. So I have 5 flowers. I didn't know if I was going to do a grouping of 3 and then 2 or just 3. I'm not going to throw a sentiment on this. I'm going to leave this as a blank note card. Again, only because I don't have spooky sentiments. I don't have Happy Halloween. Could I have put something and done it in my Cricut? Yes. But I was trying to kind of keep it more like simple too. Could I have just done just a note for this? Yes. I'm going to leave it blank. So it's just going to be a blank card for me. I'm going to look at my flowers. So I kind of like how the orange one turned out. I kind of like how this one turned out, and I kind of like, so I might just do this trio, or I might do let's see, 2 reds and an orange. I'm kind of digging the trio, to be honest, and I don't think I want to do, because I was going to do 3 over here and then carry 2. But I think that's way too much. And now I'm going to switch, because I have more space here and this is over here, I'm going to switch to this side, and that's curly. Because my original idea was over here. I'm going to go here, here, and here, like so. We'll throw our leaves in between there. So what I need to do, I think I'm going to pop up. This one and nail these 2 down like so. Okay, so we'll glue this one down, and now before I do so, I'm going to pop this up a little high, and I want, because this is going to be like so, I'm looking at my leaves, so this is going to be kind of like so, and I think I'm going to do a leaf there. So before I pop that down, I'll pop the leaf underneath that. Right there. Okay. Got a little white showing, so I'm just dabbling along just to cover up some of that white. All right. Just like so. Yeah, I agree, Pam. 5 is too much. I'm going to 3. Definitely going to 3. Gluing this one on because I'm going to pop that up. But now look at my leaves again. And I think I'm going to throw this little baby right there. And then we'll go some in that corner. Like so. We're going to pop this one down. Like so. This one's going to be on some dimensionals, and so I'm going to throw kind of like here. Pull that out just a little bit. Drop that there, I think. And I might actually just pull another single leaf. Either there or there. And I'm liking it just like that. So we're going to throw this one right here. Single leaf. And dimensionals on this. What do we think? Yes? No? Be honest. I think I could have did more black, and I think I could have did more black red. I should have maybe just stuck to black red on all the flowers, but I was trying to do some oranges and something in there to keep it fall-y too. But I think I would have, like, I have this extra one that I made now for this because I did this extra texture. I think I'm going to go more black red on this one and see how that turns out. All right, pop that right there. I'm going to grab a card base. We're going to throw this up on a card base. And we got ourselves a card. All right. I probably could do something other than a white card base for this too, but of course I get inky fingers on there, but that's all right. I'll cover that up with my card base. And I think I'm going to keep that hanging off the edge. I don't think I'm going to cut that off. I kind of like all that, actually. All right. I'm going to throw this like so. I think I got a fall deadly mossy card going on. And I could throw just a note. Just a note would fit just perfect right there, I think. So this is my version of Halloween without Halloween. And I would think darker blacker here with red, and then doing like dark red and black for the flowers, I think, for the next one. So that is what I have for my Halloween card. So let's head back up, and what do you guys think? I'm gonna hold that up. Get that to focus. Not bad. I don't think that's horrible. It gives me some vibes, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's my card, y'all. Thanks for hanging with me. If you are watching this on the replay, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're watching me still, and a couple of you hanging out and haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. Would love to have you guys as a subscriber on my channel. And I do every Monday at 3 o'clock, I drop a Monday Moments where I just share tips, tricks, and helpful hints. Every other Saturday, I do a scrappy short where in my world, everything has potential, so I throw something in there with scraps. I'm going to start doing my lives, I believe, on Thursday evenings at 5 p.m. And I'm going to throw some videos in between there as well, because I've got a whole slew of ideas written down to try. But yeah, thank you everyone for hanging with me. Thank you, Gaz. Thank you, Pamela, as the new person. Rita Marie, thank you so much for liking the card and hanging with me. Non-Halloween, we could definitely go orange. We could definitely go black and red and bloody. Add some skulls to this on my next card, but I have another one I'm going to try since I already did another one with the texture in there. So, yeah, happy Monday. Thanks for hanging with me, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.